What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. I'm here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is May 13th, Tuesday, 2024. My name, once again, is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter, casino host, proprietor of this Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, where I love to bring individuals on, especially in journalism, but in all walks of life, and hear about their why. Why do they do what they do, and who they are as a person? Break bread with them, talk with them, and just be able to share stories about being in the industry. So I got a special guest that's on with me today. Her name is Hannah McILree. She is now based out of Omaha, Nebraska, but her prior stop was in Lansing, Michigan. She also is a Ball State University graduate. So we're going to talk to her about her why. She is an MMJ reporter. So MMJ, for those of you that don't know, is multimedia journalist. So we're going to talk to her about her why into the industry, get to know her a little bit, ask her some favorite questions. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the talented, the passionate Hannah McIlree. Hello there. How we doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just want to say thank you
Yep.
for coming on to my podcast. I really do appreciate it. Work hard, play harder.
Oh yeah.
Um, how's your couple of days or start of the week, I should say, going so far?
Going good so far. Pretty relaxed. We've got some election coverage today, over in Omaha, but other than that, pretty easy so far. Just typical work week.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. And I know you just transitioned to actually Omaha, if I'm
hmm
not mistaken, in March of this year, which you were in Lansing, Michigan, before you
Yep.
transitioned to Omaha. So yeah. I wanted to reiterate to you why I wanted to bring you on before I start peppering you with all these questions. So we've been trying to do this for a while, you and I, but
Yes.
that's good. I love it. I love it that we connected now. You're an MMJ, you're a reporter. I'm a reporter as well. I cover sports. And I love talking to other reporters and hearing about their why they do what they do. What is the secret behind it? What is like role models and stuff like that? I saw your reel from last year. And obviously, there's a passion for what you do. You're very good at what you do. Some of the stories I really loved. Obviously, the one in the canoe where you was on the farm, that was
Oh,
interesting. I really thought you were going upstream somewhere in the lake. I really did at first. But I also liked the one that you did with the laundry, with them paying for the laundry. I thought that one was pretty neat. The Rock one was pretty neat about the shooting that happened at school. So it was just different ones that kind of stood out to me that I just thought it was like, wow, I definitely want to connect with this one and learn her story and learn what she's about because
thank
it's
you. Yeah.
obvious that she does a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, no question, no problem. So I normally start off my podcast the same way all the time. What is your why? All right. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models growing up? Talk about your upbringing and what led you into a career of journalism.
The why is really difficult because I initially growing up did not think that journalism was going to be my path. I never really thought that going to college was going to be my path. I hated school. I hated I hated high school. I just didn't like going to class. It just didn't interest me at all. But both of my parents received higher education. They're both attorneys, and so I knew that college was going to be something that I was going to have to do. It was going to be an expectation. It wasn't going to be something that I could kind of float off. And so I didn't actually apply to college until my first semester of my senior year of high school, and I applied to one school. I applied to Ball State, and that was it. It was Ball State or go home.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I really liked YouTube and different social media type of things and people vlogging and video storytelling. I found that to be really interesting. And so I decided that I would go down like the telecommunications route and then really fell in love with the journalism side of things instead of telling my story like a vlogger would, telling somebody else's story and connecting with people. And so my why, I guess, is just connecting with people who maybe don't have a voice or are maybe afraid to speak up and to help give them that voice through video storytelling. So
I
it's kind
love
of
it.
how I got to where I am, and I would say that Ball State really shaped me and they really shaped my career. And I had such an amazing time in school. I had a mentor, her name's Susie Smith. She was a professor and she worked at CNN for like 20 plus years. She worked in sports, and then she was on the producer side, so she worked in sports for a while, and then she worked in weather and news, and so she saw every different aspect of what you could go into, and so I really liked listening to her and learning from her about her career.
So, did you grow up in Indianapolis?
I was born in Indianapolis, but when I was like almost a year old, my family moved to Northwest Indiana over by Chicago, because both my parents are from there. My mom grew up in Valparaiso. My dad grew up in Gary slash Dyer, so he most of his childhood was in Gary, and then like teenage years was over in Dyer, Indiana.
Yep, I have a brother that's from Gary, Indiana, so I'm very
Okay.
familiar with that. I was
Yeah.
born in Cook County Hospital, which is in
Okay.
Chicago.
Yeah.
My mother and father grew up there, right? They were born and grew
Yeah.
up in Chicago. So yeah, very associated with Gary, Indiana, Chicago,
Yeah.
the West area, and I'm in the Midwest now, which I'm in
Mhm.
Minnesota, so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I haven't spent too much time in the area, but I really do like Miller, the Miller Beach side of everything. It's so beautiful. And a lot of times when people think about Gary, there's like the stipulation of like crime or gangs or things like that. But there's a lot of the area, especially towards the beach, and then also kind of towards like the Maryville area that's really, really nice and really cool. And it gets a bad rap. But it's beautiful
Absolutely.
too. Like the downtown Gary is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, I totally agree with that, Hannah. No question about it. How do you pronounce your last name so I don't butcher it?
Yeah, it's McIlree and it has been butchered many times.
Mm,
Actually literally when I was walking the stage at graduation, they said it wrong. So it gets said wrong quite a bit. The other day we were live for tornado coverage and our anchor said it wrong. She said it right and then she said it wrong and then she said it right again. So but yeah, McIlree.
McIlroy. Okay, so funny thing before I get to this next question. So I was looking at the reel, right? And I know you was associated with Fox 47 before.
Yeah.
And there was a little ticker on the down and they had misspelled your name. And I was like, I'm like, how in the I don't know
Did
how to
they
pronounce
really?
the name, and they're misspelling the name. Damn, they're making it hard for me. So I'm like, what do I do? I don't know
I
how to do.
didn't realize that. I'll have to look at which, do you know which story it was?
Uh, no, I don't remember which story. I do know that you. I think no, I do know the ice cream one. When you came out and said ice cream, who doesn't like ice cream?
Oh
And
yeah.
and you had Hannah, and I could have swore that you have two L's in your name, but you might have just one.
It's
And
IL, so it's a capital I and then an
oh,
L. So it
okay,
often
so
blends in. But
got you because I didn't see the I. Now I
yeah.
maybe I overlooked it, but I was like I didn't. I was like totally trying to get your
No, it
name.
totally blends in and it was plugged in next to where my laptop is plugged in over in this like little desk
That's
puddle
totally
area.
fine. That is totally fine. I totally understand that. Here with Hannah McIlree, right? Hannah
Yes.
McIlree, based out of Omaha, Nebraska. Now,
Hmm.
she is a reporter here on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast.
Yeah.
This next question was about Ball State University. I'd like
Okay.
to ask about why did you only choose that school? I mean, Indianapolis has some good schools now in Purdue, Butler,
Mhm.
Indiana U. They got some
Yeah.
pretty good schools. Why Ball State?
Oh man, so actually when I was growing up, my parents are divorced now, but when they were still together, family trips were often planned around like universities. Like we would go to a city or a town that had a university, spend time there, walk around the campus, so that me and my sister could really pick out one that we would fall in love with. So by the time I was in high school, I had been to so many college campuses, seen everything they had to offer. Both my parents went to Indiana University, so I was very familiar with IU, very familiar with Bloomington, but truthfully, it felt kind of overwhelming to me. Um, their campus was just so big, and I just felt overwhelmed. And so I went, and I had never been to Ball State, and my mom decided to take me on a tour there my senior year, first semester senior year, and I just like fell in love with it. Our tour guide was so amazing. He was showing us all around, and it was the perfect mid-sized campus where I still felt like it wasn't like too small of a school, but it wasn't too big that it was overwhelming. It was about 3.5 hours from where I grew up, so it was far enough that I got that sense of like being an adult and being on my own for the first time, but also that I could go home. They have a fantastic journalism school, and so it just felt like the right fit. Good price range, not too expensive. So it just was checking all of these boxes, and I knew that I didn't want to go anywhere else, and so it was
Hmm.
that or nothing, I
I
guess.
love it. I love it.
Probably not
Okay.
very smart looking back, but one and done, got in.
I feel that. And Ball State, and Ball State's pretty amazing. No question
I
about
love it.
that.
It's the best.
Absolutely. I want to ask this question about because you might know her because I just
Okay.
had her recently on the Work Hard Play Harder podcast. Emily Harless.
I do
She
know Emily
also
Harless. Yeah, we were never like super close friends, but we were always like mutuals because we were both in Greek life, so we knew people who we were in different sororities, but like
okay.
we knew people in Greek life. And then also the J school it's big, but it's also small, so like you know everybody even if they're not
Right.
like in your specific friend group. And we were both a part of Newslink Indiana. And
Yep.
so she did a lot of like the digital stuff for that. And then I was actually a sports anchor and sports reporter for them. And
Okay.
so I coordinated with her a lot about web articles and social media stuff. So I do know her. She's really good at social media and all of that kind
Yeah.
of techie stuff for sure.
Absolutely. Definitely a new friend of mine. She was somebody who was on
Yeah,
as well, and definitely somebody I'm going to keep in touch with, and hopefully keep in touch.
yeah,
Well, I want to throw that out there because she too went to Ball State University, so I just wanted to
yeah.
know
Is
a
she in
little about that.
Florida now? Where's she at?
Yeah, she's in Florida.
Okay,
She
that's what I
is.
thought.
Absolutely, no doubt. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some favorite things. Okay,
Oh my
and you just
goodness.
tell me what some of your favorite things are off the rip. Are you ready?
Oh my gosh. I'm really bad at like quick. So
That's okay.
I'll do
That's
my
all right.
best.
Listen, we're gonna try to do as best as you possibly can. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
That I like to cook. Growing up, my grandma taught me how to make mac and cheese from scratch. So it's something that I love to cook because of that memory with her. And also I know how to do it from memory and can do it really quick. I feel like I could do it blindfold. So mac and cheese for sure.
Okay, now, man, if I'm ever in the Omaha area, I'm gonna have to hit you up, Hannah, for
Oh
real,
yeah.
on
Oh
mac
yeah.
and cheese night for sure, because that's one of my favorite
It's so
starches,
good.
no doubt.
Yep.
Okay, favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, Phil Collins.
Stop it. You know about Phil Collins?
Yeah. I actually
Wow.
so I was a musician growing up. I did percussion and drums, and so I got my first drum set when I was 10, and my dad really likes progressive rock music, so we would always listen to Phil Collins and Genesis and all of those like ELO bands like that.
And and just to put some context on it, for people when they do watch this, once I post this interview, Phil Collins was the drummer of Genesis prior to him being a lead singer. Right,
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel was the lead singer of Genesis, and then they found out that Phil Collins can actually sing too and write
Yeah.
once they went solo, and then he became a pretty big solo star. He's
Mhm.
absolutely one of my top five favorite
Oh yeah.
of artists. Now, okay, this is a bonus question. Give me three songs that you rock out to Phil Collins. What's like your top three that you like have on repeat?
Can I also like incorporate Genesis in there because I like my favorite song that he does is Turn It On Again, and that's a Genesis song.
Is
Turn It
that?
On
Yeah.
Again. I really like Home by the Sea. And then I feel like just to be stereotypical, you have to say In the Air Tonight because it's just such an
Sure.
iconic song. Everybody knows it, everybody loves it, the drum
Right.
solo. But I
Right.
also really love the soundtrack to Tarzan because that's something I watched a lot growing up.
Oh
Given
yeah.
that my dad loved Phil Collins, so You'll Be in My
Yeah.
Heart, all of the songs from that too. Gotta
Absolutely.
give a shout out.
Just to be different because I love all those tracks as well. But I'm gonna go Phil Collins Two Hearts. That's one of
Hmm.
my favorite songs. Another song is One More Night. Um, another song is Against All Odds. I
That's a
mean,
good one.
who doesn't love that one,
So
right?
good.
And then probably one of my top favorites is Home. Take
Yeah,
Me Home.
Those are good. I
Right.
also really like Follow You, Follow Me, and then Abacab is really good just because of if you listen to the long version, the instrumental break is so good. As like somebody
It
who did
is.
percussion and piano, it's just like
Wow, wow.
scratches
It's
my
so
brain.
you are the first one that I've had on here on this Work Hard, Play Hard podcast that said Phil Collins. And I'm a huge Phil Collins
Oh,
fan.
he's amazing. I saw him 20 well I saw him 2018 solo and then I saw him with Genesis in 2021.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And Genesis, what's the one song that comes to mind when the the I can't walk, I can't walk, I can't dance. Yeah, I love that. I love that song. I love that
Yeah,
song.
it's
Okay,
so good.
I'm vibing with you, girl. Here we go. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Berlin, probably Germany.
Ooh, okay. What trip was that? Was that a family trip, a girls
It
trip?
was a
What trip?
family trip. So, my stepdad is a marathon runner,
Okay.
and so he runs marathons like all across the globe. And so he decided to run the Berlin Marathon. So we did a Europe trip. Because he used to live in Europe. He's lived in Germany and he's lived in England. So our first stop was England. We stayed with some family friends and then we traveled to France to go to Paris because my mom really wanted to go, and then to Berlin, Germany because he was running the marathon there. And I took German in high school. This was when I was in high school, so I felt really cool like trying to speak to people, and it was just a really interesting place. I really had a good time.
Okay, I love that. I do. I do. Now I'm a sports reporter, so you got to do a sports question here. Favorites,
Okay.
favorite sports to watch on TV. And part two of this question: favorite sport to watch in person. They could be the same sport.
It's the same baseball, and then the Go-Go White Sox are my team. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but my background is in sports. Being in at Fox 47 in Lansing was my first job in news. But
Okay.
when I graduated, my first job ever was I worked for the Augusta Green Jackets, the Braves single A affiliate, and I did their video production and all of their press box needs.
Okay, I like that. No, I like that. Baseball. Okay, so who's your team? Who's your Major League Baseball team?
So I'm a huge White Sox fan. Go Go White Sox, being from Valpo, kind of the South Side area.
Sure.
And
Sure.
then I have a secondary team too. I really like the Milwaukee Brewers. I did my internship in college in Milwaukee, so I have a huge love for them. Over there, actually, I have a Christian Yelich Funko Pop like on my
Wow.
on my dresser.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Christian Yelich. Yep, yep.
Oh
For
yeah.
those who don't know who Christian Yelich is, he's a player, outfielder for the sometimes DHs for the
Yeah.
Milwaukee for sure. I like that. Okay. Now, as I told you, my family's from Chicago, so they're
Yeah.
split down the middle. They're Cubs, they're
No.
White Sox. I'm actually planning on going to a White Sox game next month.
Oh, I
Uh,
wish you the best of luck.
Actually, you know
They're
what?
so
Yeah,
bad
no,
right
no.
now.
Yeah, 2 months, 2 months, because
Okay.
there's a career fair coming out to
Oh, great.
Chicago. If you ever heard of NABJ, that's
Hmm.
a career fair that's going out there in Chicago. So while I'm out there, I'm going to spend some time with some family and go to a White Sox Royals game. Actually,
Okay, nice. Good. Well,
yeah.
hopefully they win for that. But I actually, funnily enough, speaking of Chicago sports, last night I was doing a story, and the senator for Nebraska, US Senator Pete Ricketts, his family owns the Cubs. And so I was talking to him last night about they have this pitcher from Japan, and I'm gonna say his last name wrong, Imanaga. And he's so good. He's so talented. So I was asking him about him and that sort of stuff. And
What's up? I like that.
yeah, it's
Okay,
really cool.
okay. Now, now being in Omaha, are you going to check out any of the College World Series?
Oh yeah, so we're neighborhood news. We do yeah, each reporter has their neighborhood. Me and Molly Hudson share a neighborhood. We cover downtown and central Omaha. So the College Baseball World Series is in North Downtown. So pretty much that whole week I'll be doing some sort of story related to the College World Series, whether it's like the
Okay.
business impact. I actually have one story that I'm really excited about to do during it. So
Okay.
it's have you ever heard of like the Lime scooters, like the scooters you can rent to drive around town?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, a lot of people don't know, but you can get a DUI while driving a Lime scooter. A lot of people think it's like their safe option to get from point A to point B if they're bar hopping or things like that, but that's actually not true. There's people who've gotten DUIs on them, and it's the same restrictions against them as a motor vehicle.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know that. So I'm thinking, going because the College World Series starts on a Thursday, so either the Tuesday or Wednesday before, doing a story about that, like, hey, if you didn't know this,
Mhm.
you should probably know that so you don't get a DUI here in Omaha on the
There's
line.
definitely some 411 that they definitely should know, Hannah, for
Yeah, because I
sure. 'Cause
didn't know that.
no, I did not. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. And I've been down
stay
there once
safe.
in Omaha because my alma.
Oh no. I think we froze. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Perfect.
All right, all right. It took a couple of minutes, but that's okay. Back
We're
here
all
with
good.
Hannah McIlree, journalist based out of Omaha, Nebraska. Work hard, play harder podcast. We were talking about a story. You talking about the Lime scooters and
Yeah.
the possible DUI, which is very interesting.
Right?
I've been down to Omaha once because of my alma mater, which is Kennesaw State University. Their baseball team was in the College World Series. I went down there. I can't tell you everything that happened because honestly, I don't remember all that happened. But that's okay. It was a
Yeah.
good time, and that's what it's all about. So I'm
Mhm.
happy to either read about that, hear about that story. I can't
Yeah.
wait for you to tell about that for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you whenever I get it complete.
Absolutely, please do. Last of the favorites, favorite restaurant to attend. I know you just got there to Omaha, but I'm a breakfast person. I love to travel. I definitely want to come back down there. So please let me know what restaurant I should go to,
That's a
and
good
what's your
one.
favorite restaurant.
Yeah, I love going out to eat. I love going to restaurants, so it's kind of hard to pick one. I live in the old market, and so down here there's also just so many restaurants too that I've like been to or tried that have been really, really good. I think one place that me and my boyfriend always go back to is we go to Upstream Brewing a lot because they have like a lot of different options, and also if you like beer, just having a drink and watching a game, they have so many different selections to choose from. That place is really good. But you're a breakfast person, so Lisa's Radial is where we usually go to breakfast. It's really good. It's super affordable. Like you could get like hash browns, bacon, eggs for like $7, and then it's great. We go there a lot.
Okay, okay, I love it. I love it. That's what's up. All right. I want you to now talk to me about your day to day, right? When Hannah wakes her ass up, okay, what does Hannah get ready to do as far as going to the office, as far as
Oh
getting
man.
ready to do stories? What time does Hannah check out? As a reporter, MMJ, sometimes when we go out and do these stories, sometimes we have sources that cancel on us last minute.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have things that just come up. Sometimes we go to areas that might not be so great. We got to set up
Yeah.
and do stuff like that. Talk to me about your day-to-day process and how do you get yourself ready um, to tackle the day.
My day immediately always starts with my dog. I have a 70-pound husky German Shepherd mix in the other room. She's in her kennel because she's just a menace. And
Mm.
so she would be running and jumping and like we would not be able to have a conversation. But my day always
Oh,
starts with
okay.
her because she wakes me up every morning between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. And I'm
Okay.
a night
Okay.
side reporter, but she starts crying. She has to go outside. We go for a quick, it depends. If it's nice outside, we'll go for about like a mile long walk. If it's raining, it's like you're going potty, we're coming inside, here's a bone, so you're distracted kind of day.
Right.
And
Right.
then next is always followed by coffee. Gotta have coffee. I
Mm.
drink so much coffee because I'm a huge morning person. Before being in Omaha, I would get up every day at 5:30 a.m. because I just like being up in the morning. I like being up early, but I'm a night side reporter now, so if I did that, I'd only get like 4 hours of sleep every night, and that's just
Right.
not
No,
it.
that's not conducive at all.
No, exactly. And then I'll usually eat like some sort of like breakfast or lunch food item because at this point it's probably like 10:30, 11 a.m. Get
Mm.
my hair and makeup done, head into the office. My schedule is 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. And so I usually, since we're neighborhood news, we get a day called a work day once a week. And so we're able to go out into the community to meet with people, sources, business owners, officials to get prepared for the next week. So most days I'm fortunate enough that I have at least one interview locked in, and maybe need to go get some MOS or maybe need to find some like sourcing or look at an online journal, just to like beef up the story. Um,
Right.
and so I usually try to schedule my interviews around 3:30 or 4. That way I can get into the office first, check emails, make sure that I have batteries, my camera batteries charged. The
Look,
worst is when you show up
absolutely.
somewhere and you have 20% battery life and you're just like shaking in your boots.
Right.
And then, yeah, just kind of doing that, going through my interview process. And then I get back to the station from that, usually at like 5 or 6. I start writing, editing, try to get everything in, usually by 8 or 8:30 p.m. That way I have enough time to do my web article. I like to do a social media version of my stories too. And also just in case like breaking news or something happens late at night. Like last night was a perfect example of that. The package that I did, I had filmed the week before. So I edited together my package. They sent me out to go do a VOSOT because it's I'm not sure when this is airing, but this week is National Police Officers Week, and so the Omaha Police Department held a candlelit vigil and a walk to honor people who've died in line of duty. So I went and I did a quick VOSOT on that, and then that was right by my apartment, so I was able to edit at home. So I edited it at home. I get a call from my producer that there's been a drive-by shooting in South Omaha. Um,
Wow.
so then I finished editing that, and then I have to go to South Omaha to film. Got yelled at by a police officer because I was in my personal car and I forgot my news credentials. So I was just like, I'm with Channel 3. And
Oh.
they were like, okay, we don't want to talk to you. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you either. I just want to film this. And so I filmed it really quickly. Yeah, I was like, okay, that's
I still got a
fine.
job to do. It's okay. I don't have
Literally.
to
And I
talk
was
to
like,
you.
I know who your PIO is. I know that you're not the PIO. I have no reason to talk to you. Like, if you see Lieutenant Bonacci, send him my way, but you're not him, so I don't really care.
Right.
I know
Right.
you're not going to talk to me. Like, not new
Feel
here.
that. No, I feel that. I feel
Like, so I filmed that, got that edited in a timeline for B-roll so that they could use it for a VO or whatever they needed to do with it. And then
that.
ended my night around like 11 p.m. last night. But that was a little bit non-typical with having to go out later than usual. Usually if breaking news happens, I feel like it's usually around like that 7 p.m., 8 p.m. mark. So usually it's like pivoting and then turning to it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like what my day is like. I'm very fortunate that I'm able to set things up ahead of times. Sometimes you just can't set things up ahead of time, so you have to pivot, and that's when I kind of look towards, city council or press releases and stuff like that. Oh no, did we freeze again? And we're back. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me? There we go. I think.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right. Woo. Well, I don't know what's been going on, girl, but
I
technology
don't
is something
know.
else.
Some
But
sort of
you know
tech
what? That's okay. That's all right. We're gonna keep it rolling here.
Oh
I
yeah.
do ask you another question though, because I want to know how many people have came up to you and said, "Hey, Hannah, what advice would you give somebody that wants to do what you do, right? That wants to be a journalist, a reporter. What advice would you give them?"
I actually get that question kind of a lot. It's one of those things where I feel like when you first get into journalism or you get your first news job, there you have the basis of you know what ethics are, you know how to put together a story, you know how to edit. But you kind of don't know what you don't know sometimes. So never be afraid to ask questions. I've noticed kind of with other coworkers or people that I've worked with that are young and just getting into the field that time management can be kind of an issue.
Sure.
And just making sure to pick the best time for stories. A lot of times you don't have a control over your interview time because the interviewee picks it. You want to be um like catering to their needs and like what time works for them. And not always, what time works for you. And so I think just figuring out like the best groove of time management. Um, One thing that I really like to do is if I know that I'm going to have an interview later in the day, I like to really sit down and kind of think about what the story is, what I'm going to ask them, and how I think the story is going to go. And I create sort of like an outline of like, okay, like I think this is what my stand-up is going to be. I think I want to open with some gnats and then go into this, maybe a soundbite, because I know what questions I'm going to ask. Like, okay, their answer for this, maybe some, and then just kind of weaving it that way and doing an outline of how I think it's going to go. Sometimes your interviews don't go how you think you're going to go and the story changes, but
Sure.
I feel like most of the time, I'd say like 60 to 70% of the time, it goes how you think it's going to go. So having that outline and having that basis, so when you sit down to write, you already know like, okay, boom, 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 so that you can get things done quickly has been such a help for me. And then
Okay.
yeah, and then I think just making sure that you have a really good relationship with the community that you're serving, just because sometimes there can be a little bit of distrust with journalists and reporters, or people are maybe not used to reporters being in their area. I came from the neighborhood news model, so we had really good connections with, our neighborhoods because I could say, hey, I'm the downtown neighborhood reporter, and automatically you know that, hey, I cover downtown, I care about downtown, and so people feel a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable coming up to you. So don't be afraid to say who you are and what you do and how you want to help people, because then
Sure.
people will start gravitating towards you as well. So just having that confidence in the community, like that you're a reporter and not scared that people are going to be mean to you. There are going to be people who are going to be mean to you and yell at you. I got yelled at last night, but it's just part of the job. You just got to keep a smile on your face and serve the community and let the community know you're going to be there for them.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime that you being hated on, yelled at,
Yeah.
any kind of demeaning type of situation, that probably means you're doing something pretty well. So
Exactly.
I think that's my mindset on
Oh yeah.
reporting. Absolutely right. Anytime that you're a sports reporter, I've or any kind of reporter, but for me personally, when I write stories, and I get parents that tell me, well, you didn't have to say that about my kid. Well, he did shoot 2 for 16. I'm sorry. I have
I
to tell
can't
the
change the
facts.
past.
Right. I mean, I have to tell the facts of the story. I don't
Yeah.
like writing demeaning things, right? When you're playing football and the team loses 66 to nothing and it's high school
Yep.
football, yeah, these are high school kids that are 14 to 18 years old of the range, but you
Mhm.
have to also tell the story. If I'm covering the
Exactly.
team that scored zero, what else am I supposed to do?
Exactly.
Right. So it's just one of those things that I
Mhm.
totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. I always say I'm gonna be here when the good happens and I'm gonna be here when the bad happens too and
Sure.
everything in between. So you're
Sure.
gonna see my face.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about mental health.
Yeah.
When we talk about mental health and talk about work-life balance, you did say you have a significant other
Mhm.
as well. So you got to balance that relationship in. You have friends, family, obviously a full-time job as you work from afternoon to night. But the words that you hear a lot are burnout, underpaid, overworked. You hear those words a lot with journalists. And I know I hear it as I've talked to many people on this platform. Tell me, how do you keep your mental health stable and also keep a healthy work-life balance?
Yeah, it's kind of I can kind of speak to like in Lansing versus here in Omaha because it's very different being day side to night side. I found
Okay.
that in Lansing, my work-life balance was really good because I worked 9:15, 5:45, so I was able to have like my time in the evening, but also being a morning person, I was able to get up, go to the gym, do everything that I needed to do. And also see my friends in the evening and at night. A lot of the people that I worked with in Lansing were my friends. We were a very, very close newsroom. Other reporters there, we're like, I can think of like Russell Shelberg and I, super, super close. Colin Jankowski, super, super close. We'd hang out outside of work. One of the producers was my former roommate. We went to Ball State together. Her name's Shane McCarthy. Really, really close, hung out all of the time. And
Mhm.
so that was pretty easy. And my boyfriend went to MSU at the time. And so when he would get done with his engineering classes, we'd hang out, go to dinner. So I had really good work-life balance, and I also just had a really good support group. So I knew if I was stressed out that I would could be able to talk to my friends and confide in my friends and that sort of thing. And also being my closest friends, being coworkers, they had sort of that like sense of understanding of what I was going through. And so it was always really easy to just get my feelings out there, whatever I felt like I needed to talk about. And I never really felt I had a couple points of burnout in Lansing, but I was always able to snap back pretty quickly. Here in Omaha, it's very brand new. I've been here. My first day at the station was March 4th. And I started out dayside and then I got switched to night side about a month in, and I'm still adjusting to that. I'm not used to it yet. I have always been a morning person, literally my whole life. And so figuring out, getting enough sleep, um, while also making sure that, I get to take my dog out because that's a responsibility. That's my dog. I had her before my boyfriend, so I try not to pass her, off to him. He's really great in helping with her to the best of his ability, but it's not
Sure,
his
you should be.
responsibility, so it shouldn't be. And then with him, it's kind of tough because we don't see each other a lot anymore because
Right.
he
Yeah.
um he works Amazon, so he works on Saturdays or Sundays, excuse me. So we only see each other on Saturdays. Or like when I'm coming off of work, I just want to like sleep. So unfortunately, we don't get to spend as much time with each other as we would like to, which has been, I think, the biggest kind of hurdle because he's oftentimes the person that I go to, like, hey, I'm stressed out about this thing. Can we talk about it? So that's one thing that I'm trying to navigate and kind of trying to stop myself from reaching that burnout point. Just because yeah, I'm still figuring out the balance here.
Sure.
So in terms of advice, I would always say speak up. If your schedule is moved and you don't like it, talk to a manager about it and see if you can have things kind of worked out that way. My work days, I work dayside now, so that I have at least one dayside day a week and that sort of thing. If you're feeling burnt out, I would 100% talk to your manager. I would say, hey, because doing stories, like doing news stories for me, if I'm doing a story where it's really, really heartfelt or I'm speaking with somebody that's going through a loss, like I carry that with me. I really
Okay.
do.
Okay.
And like it just breaks my like the tornadoes recently, those just absolutely broke my heart. Seeing families who literally lost everything broke my heart. Like I've really carried that with me. I've kept in touch with almost every single family that I've gotten to interview and just keeping up with them outside of the news world. And that has really been something that's been affecting me recently, seeing what everybody's going through.
Sure.
And so, sometimes you have to go to your boss and say, hey, I've been covering these stories about like all of this loss and it's sticking with me. Can we find a fun, happy story for me today so that I can carry some happiness with me? And that's
Yeah.
one thing that's really helped me. Like, the other day I did a story about these 84-year-olds that just got married. They were high school sweethearts. They broke up, and now at 84 years old, they're getting back together and getting married. Like, and all of their bridesmaids and groomsmen were people they went to high school with. So people were decorating their oxygen tanks. It was the cutest thing ever, and I needed that day. I needed a story of happiness and like this cute, adorable elderly couple
Right.
getting married. And my bosses knew that, and they were like, "Go do it. Have a good time. Take that with you. Don't take." other people's sadness. So if you're down, talk to your managers. And if you don't feel like you can talk to your managers, then that's a problem and you should really reconsider where you are.
Right. Being at
That's a
that station.
huge
Yeah.
problem.
Hmm.
That's a huge problem. I'm really fortunate that I work with scripts. And so with our contracts, if you want to transition mid-contract to another script station, you can. And that's really great. If you feel like you're in a bad situation, you can transfer somewhere else without having to pay a huge buyout.
Right.
And then
Right.
also, we have really good benefits with Scripps too. So I could, if I felt like I needed to see a therapist, my insurance through Scripps would cover it completely,
Sure.
which is really amazing. I love
That
that.
is.
Um, we're also paid really well in Scripps too. Like this is turning into like me just being like Scripps, but a lot of people that I know in the industry that I've spoken to do not, they barely make ends meet. They live paycheck to paycheck. I'm very fortunate that with Scripps, they just did a lot of pay raises for MMJ specifically. Um, in the fall of last year. And so in the fall of last year, I got a pay bump just for being an MMJ. And so did all the other MMJs company wide. And we no longer have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck. We don't have to worry about student loans. So that financial stress is off of my shoulders. Now the only stress I really carry with me is figuring out how to transition from night side or the stress that I take home with me from a story, which is something that as an MMJ, I feel like you just have to learn to navigate on your own because I feel like a lot of people do that.
Sure, absolutely. It's an important question to ask because,
Yeah.
like I said, mental health is something that's very important in every industry, especially journalism. Like you said, you do hard news stories, soft news stories.
Mm.
Um, that's why I kind of chose the genre of sports because sports is
Yeah.
a winner. There's a winner, there's a loser. There's tough stories
Uh-huh.
there too, but you know what's going to happen in
Yeah,
sports. It just
exactly.
going to happen, right? So I totally understand that. I want to transition as well because now we come to the portion of doing this or that. So
Okay.
basically, it's throwing two things at you, okay? And then
Hmm.
what you do is you answer this or that. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Here we go. First question: Popeyes or KFC?
KFC.
Okay,
The
okay. Now
famous bowl is
you've
so
had
good.
Popeyes before though, right?
I have had pop. So my thing though is like I don't eat meat. And so like I get the famous bowl without chicken. So I get like the mashed potatoes, the corn, the cheese, all of that. With Popeyes, the only thing that they have is the red beans and rice and mac and cheese. And they're great. I love red beans and rice. But like if I want a meal, like I want my biscuit and I want my famous bowl.
Okay, with that, I'm with that. Shout out to you being are you a vegetarian or you just don't eat meat?
I'm a vegetarian, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, next question is Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning.
I'm trying to see. I was testing you here. Okay, here we go.
Indianapolis.
That's right. That's right. Here we go. Okay, next question that I have is which pacer are you going with? Are you going to take Reggie Miller or are you going to take Tyrese Halliburton?
Oh man. I don't know much about Tyrese, so I'm gonna go with Reggie Miller because I
Okay.
um I'm not the biggest basketball person in terms of basketball. Like I grew up like very much of Bulls because my dad loved the '90s Bulls.
Okay.
I love Scottie Pippen. I know a lot of people don't like him anymore because of The Last Dance, but I just love Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great segue because the next question was which dynasty is better? Which dynasty is better? I'm gonna throw out three of them, okay? Obviously, I'm gonna throw out the Bulls in the 90s, the Lakers in the 2000s, the Warriors in the 2010s.
I have to go with the Bulls. I just really do. I feel like it's blasphemous to say anything other than the Bulls because they were kind of like paid. I mean, I guess I say they paved the way, but then people will bring up the Celtics or people will bring up the Bad Boys, whatever. But I just really feel like the Bulls were like the most iconic.
Okay, okay, I like that. Now, these next three questions have to do with music. Which concert would you rather attend? So the first question is, which concert would you rather attend on this one? Would you rather go see Carrie Underwood or Luke Bryan?
I'm not a big country person, but I would say I know more Luke Bryan songs than I know Carrie Underwood. So I would say
Okay,
Luke Bryan.
all right. I like that. Now this next one has to do with rap.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Oh, Kendrick Lamar. That's so easy.
Okay, I
Drake is
like that.
like, oh, I could talk about this for a long time. I just don't like Drake.
Oh.
He's always just struck me as weird. Like he's just kind of weird. Like I love the memes where it's like Drake's the kind of guy. Like have you seen those? Oh no, I think it crashed again. All right, we're back.
We
But yeah.
are back, okay? We are back here with Hannah McIlree, okay? Journalist based out of Omaha, Nebraska on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, working through some technical difficulties here. But thank you for those of you that will watch this once it's posted. We were talking about Drake, her not liking Drake. That is definitely a hot take here. No question about it, because I think Kendrick Lamar and Drake is two of the baddest MCs in the game. No
Yeah.
doubt. Now, why don't you like Drake?
He's just like I don't know. He's when there's like celebrities that you just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't like him. I've always been like that with Drake. And then recently, or even in the last like I feel like since Hotline Bling came out, there's just been like all these Drake memes, like the Drake's the kind of guy to say like yoo-hoo to the homies and stuff like that. Or like even with the Millie Bobby Brown weirdness, like he just strikes me as like kind of a weird guy. Like I don't know.
Right,
Um,
right. And Millie
yeah,
Bobby Brown, for those of you that don't know, is in Stranger Things. She's
yeah,
11. That's who she is. And obviously she doesn't look 11 anymore. But
no.
yes, yes, she
Yeah,
is in Stranger Things, which is one of my favorite shows.
it's really good. But yeah, he just not, I don't know. He has good songs for sure. And like, I think when he started his career, Versace with Migos and all of them really kind of helped blow him up with things like that. But
Okay, so you know about that rap, don't you?
yeah, a little bit. My
Okay,
favorite
I
rapper
feel
is Polo G though. I love Polo G.
no, well, he's a Chi-Town product, so I
Uh-huh.
understand that. I understand that. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
He's
Okay, yeah.
he's great.
I'm up on my music, girl, and my
Oh
sports. I know. Yes,
yeah.
doubt. Okay, here we go. J. Cole or Big Sean?
Um That's tough because I feel like Big Sean was like a lot of like my childhood and stuff like that. Like a lot, like he was really going on the radio like when I was growing up, and then J. Cole was more of like high school, college, that sort of thing. And but I would say I would listen to J. Cole songs more than I listen to Big Sean like songs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. We got a couple more for the this or that. Are you a dessert person?
Yeah, I love dessert.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna throw four desserts at you. One of these you're gonna have to eliminate for the rest of your life. You can't eat it.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. A is cookies. B is cakes. C is ice cream. D is candy. Which one are you getting rid of?
Mm, I feel like cake because like if I eat a cookie, I eat ice cream with it, right? And then if you get rid of candies, like that's so versatile. There's so many of them, different
Mhm.
things like that. Like at the station, in the front, there's always a candy bowl, and I always steal one out every day. So I feel like I'd have to get rid of cake.
I would definitely choose candy. I
Oh
would
yeah,
choose. Yeah, I mean, out of those four, if I had to choose one, I would choose
that's
candy.
true.
I can't get rid of the cake. We got pound cake. We got
Yeah, that's true though.
cupcake.
I do
We got
love
all
like
kind of
like
cake.
bundt cakes are so good. Ah, that's so.
Right.
Oh man, I don't know. Now I'm
Right.
like thinking it, but I'm also just thinking like when I go to the, I love going to the movies, and I love to like get the popcorn and put the candy in it, like combo, salty and sweet together. So
Wow.
good. So
Okay. That's
yeah, I
different.
don't have to
I
get
ain't,
rid
I
of
ain't
the
never heard
cake.
of that.
It's good. So what I do is I get the popcorn, right? And then
Mhm.
there's a candy called cookie dough bites. So it's just literally little cookie dough balls with
Yep.
and I put
Yep.
them in the popcorn, shake it up so that you get the salty and the sweet together. It's so good.
Ooh, that
It's
is good. Those cookie dough bites come in that red box, which is real good. I like
mm-hmm.
that red
Those
box.
are
You
my
put okay,
favorite. Those are so good.
okay. I like that. Now, are you a chips person? Do you eat chips?
I do eat chips. I like to put them on my sandwiches. I like to do like a crunch
Oh,
of
so you do that too? I do that too.
uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. That's not weird, by the way, people. When y'all
Yeah,
watch
and
this,
people who
not
say that
weird.
it's weird, like, I just don't know that you enjoy happiness. Like, that's crazy. It's delicious.
Right.
Like, I don't,
Right.
me eating a sandwich without putting chips on it, I feel like is more rare than me, like, just eating a sandwich plain. I don't know.
Right.
So good.
I mean, it's just get with the program, damn it. I mean, just
For
put chips on your sandwich. That's what you need to do. Okay, here we
real.
go. I'm throwing out four chips, and you have to choose one of them or choose one that you will never eat again.
Okay.
A. Cheetos. B. Doritos. C. Ruffles. D. Lay's. Which one you getting rid of?
Oh, man. That's tough again. Because I really
Mhm.
I like the Ruffles, the sour cream and cheddar ones. Those are really good. But I also like the Lay's. And then, do the Lay's have the really good barbecue chips? I guess, what was the first option again?
Cheetos.
Probably Tito's, I'd have to say. Because I love Doritos too. Like literally right now in my kitchen, I have the sweet chili Doritos. Those are the so good.
Okay, so you would get rid of the Cheetos. You would get rid of those.
Yeah, I'd have to get rid of the Cheetos. But that I
Okay.
love Cheetos too. I guess, but like with Ruffles and Lay's, there's so many different types that like fall into those categories. But Cheetos is like Cheetos and Cheetos Puffs. But
I,
I have
I
to get
have
rid
to
of the
agree with
Cheetos.
you, Hannah. I will get rid of the Cheetos myself
Yeah,
because barbecue lays I can't get rid
I
of.
know.
Um, Cool Ranch Doritos I can't get rid of.
Exactly.
And then I would kill. Doesn't matter if it's barbecue sour cream and cheddar or if it's just sour cream and cheddar. That's the best chip ever made.
Exactly. It's so good. It's my
So good,
favorite.
no question. Okay,
Delicious.
I'm with you on that. I'm rocking with you. Okay,
Mhm.
if Hannah was not in journalism, what career would Hannah pursue and why?
Oh man. If I wasn't in journalism, what would I do? I don't know. I have no idea.
What's some things that you like to do outside of journalism?
I guess yeah, I'm trying to think of like
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Did we freeze again? No. His hair. All right.
Okay, okay. Now this time I'm gonna tell you this time.
Hmm.
This time it wasn't as bad because when I
Okay.
was talking to you, your head was still moving.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
However, I couldn't hear no sound, so I was like, okay, I'm just
No,
trying to
you're
see.
good. I was just like, I have no idea. But I think I probably would have tried to become like a YouTuber, or like a vlogger or something like that. I don't know if it would have worked out, but um, I used to make. I have a YouTube channel out there. I think it's Hannah Michelle, or it might be Hannah McIlree, but I haven't posted a vlog in like well over a year. But I would do little vlogs every now and then. So I think if I wouldn't have pursued journalism, I would have done that more regularly. Maybe posted a bit more. Maybe been more serious with it, and tried to do that.
I
But I
love
don't
it.
know if it would have been successful because it's so hard to just get subscribers and things like that. It's so hard.
It is no question
Yeah.
about that. You definitely got to work at it for sure.
Yeah.
What is some advice that someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
My dad used to always tell me growing up, and I'm about to cuss, that sometimes you have to shovel shit to get to the top or get to where you want to be.
That's
And
okay.
so just kind of like thinking about how sometimes you really have to grind to get to where you want to be, and you might not be where you're at right now, but you're supposed to be where you are now because you're supposed to be learning work ethic, or you're supposed to be building that resume, or you're supposed to be just grinding so that you can have that future, have that life, or have that career that you want to have eventually. So like when I was in school, I paid for pretty much all of my own school. And so I worked at one point, I had 3 jobs, and then luckily I got a waitressing job where I was able to make enough money to just have that one job. And so I always
Okay.
just carried that with me. Like I'm working a lot right now to make money to pay for school because I know that this is journalism is something I want to do, and this is what I have to do now to get to where I want to be. Um, and so yeah, sometimes you just have to shovel shit and do stuff that you don't want to do, work jobs that maybe you don't want to work because you're building towards your future.
I love it. Shout out to your dad as well, because yeah, you
Yeah,
do what you need to do in order to do what you want to do. Right? That's what it is.
exactly.
I love that. I love that. Yes, you do
Yeah,
got to struggle shit sometimes. There's no
exactly.
question about that.
And my
But
dad's like the perfect example of it. Because he grew up, born in Gary, lived there for a while, moved to Dyer. His parents were both steel mill workers,
hmm,
um, weren't college educated. They were like the best people. I love my grandparents so much. But they were very blue collar, living paycheck to paycheck, making ends meet. And then my dad ended up going to school, getting a business degree, putting himself through law school, and working really, really hard to have this like white collar job that, when everybody thinks of, they're like, ooh, fancy, da 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 da. But he really, really worked hard so that he could have a better life and so that me and my siblings could have a better life. So I just always think about him and all the work that he did. And he's such a motivator for me. He's like my
love,
best friend. I just
I
think about him
love
all
that.
the time.
Oh, no question. Shout out to your dad once again. Seems like a
Yeah.
wonderful man. No doubt about it. I want to ask you this last question before I get you up out of here. What is something that you want to talk about that you haven't talked about yet that you want to tell about yourself?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like we talked about a lot of different stuff. I think, um, I don't know. I would say maybe just like plug my different social medias because we haven't really
Let's
talked
do
about
it. Let's do it,
it.
girl.
So
Tell them. Tell them what it is.
I really have loved doing like a news TikTok. So in scripts, our Nashville station, Channel 5, there is a reporter there. His name is Levi Ismail, and he has like the best TikTok ever where he does like news. He'll go out on the town, and he just really motivated me to like get onto that platform and do vertical versions of my stories. And I've really been working hard at it. I've had a bit of success so far. And that's just something that I've really worked hard on. If you don't, I do all Midwest news. I don't just do Omaha. I don't do just Michigan. So if you're looking for a TikToker, oh man, did it freeze? Uh-oh. Back again. I don't know how much of that you heard.
No, back here with Hannah McIlree, a journalist from Omaha, Nebraska, on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast with your boy Chris Drummond. We were talking about different social medias you can find Hannah on. Obviously, she's on LinkedIn, that's for sure. And she was talking about TikTok. Take it away.
Yeah, so I just yeah, so I started my TikTok like a year and a half-ish ago, and I've been mentored a lot by Travis Jones. He does social media for our corporate team, and then also Levi Ismail in Nashville, Tennessee. He like really is like the blueprint for doing news in the vertical format and just being really concise, but also just being like really like personable and just like a good human, while also doing the news in the social media space. So I've taken a lot of just advice from him. And so if you're looking for somebody who does news not only for like the Nebraska, but I try to do the whole Midwest, and then I'll do some of the big national stories too in a quick 1 to 2 minute format that's easily digestible. You can find me on hannahmcilree.news.
All right, I like that. Now, obviously, I need some recommendations. But when I come down there, I definitely pick it with you. I mean, I'm obviously only 3.5 hours, 4 hours away from
Yeah,
Omaha.
not too bad, not too bad.
Too bad at all. So, what should I do when I touch down in Omaha? What's some of the first few things I should do?
Well, you got to come to the Old Market. The Old Market has a lot of really cool shops. They have this massive candy store in
Mhm.
it. That's like it's literally huge. It's like a maze. That's the best. We go there like a lot. And really good restaurants just throughout the Old Market in general. But
Okay.
one restaurant that I feel like you'd really like, it's right by where they do the College Baseball World Series, the Old Mattress Factory. They always have like sports on all the different TVs, lots of different beers, cocktails, really good food. And then the bridge to Iowa, there's a bridge to Iowa called the Bob that's really beautiful at night. They light it up, and it's really cool to literally walk across a river and into another state. So definitely a couple things you got to do.
I love it. I love it. Obviously, when I touch down, I will hit you up for sure. Hannah,
Yeah.
this has been absolutely amazing to talk to you, get to
Mhm.
know you a little bit, know your story, know
Yeah.
what you do. I'm looking forward to that Lime scooter story that's going to be coming out soon. And
I'll let you know
like
when it
I
comes
said,
out.
as I always do, to end my podcast, I ask, is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
No, I feel like we really covered everything. You did a great job asking questions about the field, but then also asking questions about my personal life. And it felt very conversational. So I really appreciate you having me on and that we were able to finally be able to do this, because the first time we were talking about it, I was getting ready to move, and then the second time the tornadoes happened. But
Right,
now we're here,
right.
we're finally here, and I'm just so happy, and thank you so much for having me on.
No question. Thank you for hopping on. It is an absolute pleasure. Please keep in touch. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Oh, I will. I'm about to go do some election coverage.
Take care now. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.